Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Juan Words Podcast. My name is Anjelica. On this episode, we have a guest. Okay, so I have to clarify. Well, first of all, introduce yourself.
My name is Garza, and I'm running for Justice of the Peace in Precinct 6, Place 2. That's that courthouse on Macario Garcia.
So that's my neighborhood homes. Okay, so so here we are. Okay, so I have to make this I have to be transparent here. I am here with Luis. Luis happens to be the brother of one of my sisters. How do we know each other?
Well, it was the interesting thing. Actually, I met your sister back in high school.
High school?
In Austin. I had her for the health class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, and Maricela, too.
Yeah, my sisters.
Your sisters, I met both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
But never thought y'all guys were sisters. I had one for one class. I had the other one for the other.
You had Maricela for one class and you had Rosa for another?
Yeah, I had for health, and then I had it for physical science, Maricela. So, and then we had a quinceañera.
Maricela's quinceañera.
Yeah. And then that's when I met your mom and all your sisters and your brother.
Yeah. That's when you met the whole family.
Yeah, back in 88 or something like that.
So Luis happens to be a friend of the family, and my sister still now continues to work with your brother.
Correct.
Yeah. Or for your brother. I'm sorry. Works for your brother. And he has an agency. Anyway, I'm here to introduce Luis. Luis is running for Justice of the Peace here in the area. What precinct is it?
Precinct 6.
6. Okay.
And it's two courts. There's Precinct 6, Place 1, and Precinct 6, Place 2. Mm-hmm. There's a courthouse, which is Place 1 on Lockwood. Mm-hmm. And the other one that I'm running for is the one on Macario Garcia.
Okay. So, so the Magnolia East End, East Houston area is notorious. It's notorious for being a historical Hispanic community, and we've been around here for years. And you were raised here, and everybody else that I know has been raised here. So that's the disclaimer. That's my disclaimer. I know Luis. I know who Luis is. Reached out and, hey, can we do an interview? I like your community here online. I want to have a conversation, and I want to tell them about what I'm doing and why I'm running. And so absolutely, I was like, gladly, I'll have you on my podcast, and we can talk about some of the conversations, because it's very slowly we had kind of the conversations. But first of all, I don't even know what Justice of the Peace does. Let's start there. So, Justice of the Peace, what do you do? Or what would you be doing?
Well, first of all, most of the people know the Justice of the Peace just for weddings. Mm-hmm. In reality, this...
Really?
Yeah, Justice of the Peace do weddings.
I didn't even know you could get married there.
Yes, you can.
Oh, that explains a lot. I went to Southwest to go get married. But that's good to know. Yeah. I could have done it down the street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then?
But it's a three jurisdictional court, which consists of a criminal jurisdiction, a civil jurisdiction, and a truancy court. So it has three jurisdictions, and it has some magistrate duties like occupational license for hearings on tow hearings. So those fall under the magistrate duties. So technically, it's four things that the Justice Peace does.
That they provide.
Right.
That we would go in for.
Yes. So it's like four courts in one. So,
okay. The only reason I know that court exists because that's where we renew our driver's license, like not driver's license, that car registration. That's the only, I didn't even know there was a court in there.
Exactly.
I don't think the community even knows that's there for that.
Exactly. And that's one of
that's what the other things that you do there, they do, that court office does.
Right. And that's, but keep in mind that the Justice of the Peace does not do the registrations.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the only time I ever see anybody walk in there for.
Yeah.
I thought the rest of the building was like offices. No, I didn't know there was a court.
Yeah, there is a full court in there.
Okay.
So it's actually, like I said, four courts in one. But like the criminal, let me explain a little bit. They do traffic, especially in that court. They do a lot of commercial vehicles. So if they're overweight, or I don't know if you ever experienced on the freeway where there's an 18-wheeler and the little rocks keep hitting your windshield.
Yeah.
Well, that's a violation. So if a trooper or a sheriff's department sees that, then they'll pull them over because...
Okay.
So, yes, that's one of the things.
The moving violations type of things. Okay.
Yeah, traffic.
Okay.
Another thing that they handle is like bad checks. If you do a job and they pay you with a bad check and it bounces, and they don't want to pay it, then you go there too.
Okay.
So that way you could be able to get some restitution out of it, to get paid for actually what happened.
Okay.
And that's in the criminal court. And another thing, that you could walk in there and like for a public nuisance, which is maybe your neighbor has a junk car or tall grass or weeds, and they don't want to clean up, and makes the neighborhood kind of look bad, or sometimes it produces rats or all kinds of things.
Okay.
And if they don't want to fix it, there's a lot of reasons why.
Yeah.
Not because it could be of older age, it could be, but the main part is that if you go to that court, then we investigate, and then
The reasons why.
And,
I see what you're saying. So then you help the tenant who's ever at the occupation of that address.
Right. It could be a senior citizen. It could be they're disabled and they can't do it. And they don't know what resources there are out there. So this is very important why you should go to the Justice Peace. Say, I have this neighbor.
Okay.
And then we go and send a constable, investigate, and find out what's going on, And then if it's something very serious, we also have counselors that to be able to match them with the program, so that way we can fix it. But it all starts with one complaint. You know, and the court's not there to punish; they're there to bring relief.
It's that the message you're trying to get out is that the court's not there to take your money or put you in jail or scare the Jesus out of you, because that's what it's notorious for. That's what judges are known for, and that's not what you're saying it is.
Right?
Are you trying to just change that narrative, that message for us?
Right. Actually, it's the Justice of the Peace by name itself. The justice brings peacefully brings the justice, because keep in mind that. In the situation,
the situation brings the peace justice.
Yeah, peacefully, because keep in mind that they're still going to be your neighbors.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay. So if they have that disorderly conduct, loud noise, they're still going to be your neighbors. But we bring some kind of resolution, some understanding, so that we both can all live together happily. So that's one of the main things that we do. We're not there just to punish people or do this. Now, if you don't want to work with the community, then there's other steps that the court can take. Okay,
Luis, one of the things that I do want to touch on, and why it's important, that position that you're trying to run for is important. What is the population of the area that court serves?
Oh, okay. Well, we're talking about Magnolia, Denver Harbor, 2nd Ward, 5th Ward, Eastwood, the Edo District, Gulfgate area, and a little section of Wayside all the way to Dixie Farm.
All the way out there?
And all the way to Belford, on the right side of the 45.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big area.
In number capacity, what would you say? Like a good 100, 200, 300? What would you say?
What, 200 to 300? What, like
people?
Oh, people.
Yeah.
The population is about 135,000.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of.
That's a lot of people to be serving.
Yes.
And and all of us go through that courthouse. So this is why that position is important.
Very important. Okay. Yes. Yeah. It has a lot of services for the community, and one of the saddest part about it is that nobody ever knows all these services that are there. I
didn't even know I didn't even know there was a court in there. I didn't know. No. So how would I know the services exist?
Exactly. That's just one of the things I'm trying to send a message. Now, keep in mind that I've been doing this for 28 years.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time to learn a lot of details and how to do everything that the Justice Peace can do. But that's one of the most important parts. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to run. I said, I have all this experience. I see my community that I've been living there for 40 years. They need it. So
well, let's talk about your experience. And I want to touch really quick on why this community. Let's jump on. I know your background because I know you. But I want from your mouth to tell us your experience, your background. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And why here?
Okay. I went to, for elementary, I went to J.R. Harris. Middle school was Edison.
Edison is where the courthouse is, right across the street from.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then
You see, I'm smart.
we are smart.
High school.
The high school was Stephen F. Austin. So, and went there, and after that went to community college at HCC.
Okay.
And then after that I got my bachelor's. There was not classes at night, so I had to take them online.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's from American Intercontinental and in business. And then, but what's interesting about it is that when I was going to HEC, and it's like you had to pay for school, but I couldn't afford the insurance. I'm sure everybody can relate to that because when you're a student, you're broke.
No, I get it. I was a single mom for a little bit, so I understand. It's either or.
Yes.
You're never in a position where you can do everything.
Exactly. So I couldn't afford the insurance, so the police kept pulling me over. It's like I was already marked. And then I said, you know what? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm trying to succeed.
They kept pulling you over?
Yeah. It was the funniest thing. And I was not speeding. I was being very careful.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just fit that profile.
Oh, that sounds like the 90s. I got pulled over a lot.
Actually, it was the 90s.
Now, mind you, but I was driving for good reason. And sometimes I was like, no, like I'm fine. Like I'll get, like, I get it. I don't, it's easy to pull me over.
Yeah. And, and then it was the weirdest thing. I said, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I don't know the law. Maybe, because not knowing the law is not an excuse.
Yeah.
So I started volunteering in the court that I'm running for. And ended up with the job there. So
you started volunteering?
Yeah.
How do you volunteer?
Well, I went to the court and say, hey, I'm interested in learning a little bit about what you guys do here.
Dang. I didn't even know. Usually, I'm trying to stay away from the court. I'm not trying to volunteer. So you volunteer and they hire you. You intern, they hire you.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm getting it.
And then for some reason...
How long ago was this that you started volunteering?
Well, that was 28 years ago.
Okay.
It was December, and I got hired on January the 6th in 94.
Okay. You're aging yourself, man.
It's okay. The beauty of it is that that's what happened. And
not only that, Luis, you're aging my sisters. But hey, not a problem. I don't care.
Well,
Marisela Rosa, I'm sorry.
Well,
but okay, go ahead.
Like you started at the beginning, transparent.
No, okay. So you intern, you get hired, and then you start learning the ropes. Where did you intern?
Well, at the court that I'm running on, Macario Garcia.
That same court.
But it didn't look like that. It used to be an old court. It looked like it used to be a funeral home before.
Oh, okay.
And then they knocked it down, and then they built this new courthouse.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like that. So it seemed like a community area. There was not too many things going on. The only thing that was there was the Justice of the Peace. Really, nobody ever knows what they do.
Yeah.
But, with time, I started learning and got more interesting. And I noticed that I could make a difference. And then I started developing a very good passion for it, because at first I was into computers, and doing all these things. But then, for some reason, it's just destiny.
What was it? What was it that you really liked about that courthouse?
It's not much about the courthouse. It's about the services that we're able to provide relief to people. And, you don't have to be rude or mean or anything. It's just all these services that they provide that if for some reason or another it's not being broadcasted to the people. You could come here. They always think that we're just kind of there to punish, and really we're there to bring relief. Whatever that is. I mean, so that's worked there for 7 years. In 2001. Which I'm currently working at, moved to this courthouse on Scarsdale. That's the Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, Place 1.
Scarsdale. Okay.
That's Scarsdale and Beamer.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're out there. Wow, that's very far from where you originally started.
Right. But then through there, I'm the chief of staff there now. And
you're chief of staff there at the courthouse where you're at now?
Yes.
Okay.
I work for Judge Delgado.
Okay.
And one of the things is that the community demanded a lot, and they knew the services there.
Yeah.
They knew what everybody asked from the Justice of the Peace, which was kind of different from my neighborhood. And so throughout the years, the 21 years that I've been in that court, I started learning more and more and more about all that Justice Peace does. Also managing a budget and accounts payable, accounts receivable, the health insurance for the staff, and everything else. But then it came to the time, it's like, okay, I got all this experience. It just wants to come out of me and help people, but how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
So I saw where I lived at, all these businesses kept asking me going over there because they were not getting any relief. Or they took too long, or, their court date was too far, or whatever. I'm not trying to put blame on anybody.
Yeah.
But all I'm trying to say that they kept going over there. And he goes, hey, go talk to Luis, go talk to Luis. And before you know it, then all of a sudden they say, why don't you come on right over here? You experience, the community.
Come run for the Justice of the Peace here as a judge.
Exactly.
Okay.
I say, why not? Let me give it a shot.
Yeah. So here we are.
And here we are.
Okay. So you're running for Justice of the Peace. Now, if you could emphasize a little bit on your messaging, what is it that you're trying to achieve while you're there, if you get voted in?
Well, the main part is that the court are there to help. It doesn't matter what problem you have. And if we don't do it there, we know who does.
Yeah.
And the government office, everybody thinks, somebody's there, they just look at you and they're just looking at their computer and they don't acknowledge you or this or that. Everybody's kind of sometimes don't see government office or a big line, and you have to spend a lot of time, or you get the runaround or some red tape. Technically, with the proper training, everybody should be a very smooth, very welcoming. It's for the community.
Yeah.
It's a lot of services, and I'm trying to advertise the services.
Okay. So, I want to run a scenario by you, because I've never had to actually do something like this before. But let's say I'm a single mom of 2. I'm backed up on my rent, and they finally have put in to evict me, right? And I show up at the court, and let's say you're the clerk. I show up to the court, and I've never had to do this because that's scary as hell to get your car taken, impounded, or to get your home, whatever. These are necessary things. And living here in Houston, we need a roof, but even a car. You know what I mean? And so here's take me through the process, right? The landlord has already put in a thing to evict me, but I am the single mother. I need the help. Landlord does too. I mean, they deserve their money because they own the property. I get that, but I can't. What do? I walk in there. I don't have a lawyer. I have nobody with me. I'm here. They served me. Is that what it's called? They serve you, right? They serve me with papers, and they told me to show up, or else I think they lock the door. I don't even know what they do. But what do I do? How can you help me?
Well, the first thing is show up.
Is that a thing that people are just not doing, is showing up to court when they get served with papers?
Yes. That's unfortunately, that's one of the biggest things that we have. People just ignore it because I guess they don't believe in the system.
If people don't show up, they get served with papers. What is usually what they don't show up to court for? Is it like evictions and things like that?
The evictions and other debt claims were the credit card cases, which we could go about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that for a little bit.
On the evictions, it's very, very important you show up. Because that way, keep in mind that the Justice of the Peace is the only court where the judge can ask questions. It's very informal. So the judge sits there and says, what's going on? In terms of why you can't do what you're doing, why you can't pay this? Exactly. You say, I lost my job, or I did this, or going through a divorce. So we always look for programs where they can assist you in your situation to pair you up based on your circumstances. Sometimes we ask the landlord, ¿sabes qué? We need to figure this out. And is it okay? Because we also gotta be fair.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I know she's behind 2 or 3 months. This program will pay those 3 or 4 months and might give you another 2 months while she gets back on her feet.
Yeah.
Are you willing to participate in this? He goes, yeah, because most of the time, like you said, the landlord...
they want their money. They don't want to kick you out.
Exactly.
They know you're a single person with kids. Yeah.
Exactly. So unless there was some kind of violence or crime going on, in and out people, so that's a different situation.
That's a whole other story.
Right. But in that situation, yes. And then most of the time, the landlords, they just want their money, so they wait maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Then the check comes in.
Oh, okay. And
then the landlord, goes, hey, okay, here, I'm going to dismiss this.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything. But that's what really should happen.
When what doesn't happen is they don't show up.
Because they don't show up. And a lot of the reasons that I have come across that is because they're scared.
Yeah, that's sad because they end up scrambling.
And they don't know what to do. And then before you know it, they're trying to find another location and all these things.
And it happens again.
And it happens again.
Yeah.
And sometimes these organizations that are federally funded or state funded ended up with all this money. And they have to take it back because they didn't use it. So, and that's one of the main parts on an eviction. That's what happens. So, the main message that I want to send: show up, ask questions, ask the judge. Is there any programs that we could look into? Do everything possible, but do not show up because you ain't gonna have any assistance. Now, the judge still has to make a ruling at the end, but if you participate, it could be reset until guys get the relief guys were looking for.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So
show up to court?
Yes, show up to court. Now, there's some tenants that might not qualify, but there's another program for that.
Oh, so like if I don't qualify for this program, there's still other ones that I can potentially help me.
Yes.
Okay.
And as long as the landlord's willing to work, then it shouldn't be a problem.
But it's the people that we know have been evicted and do get evicted. And so this happens. It's not like it happens all the time, but we fall in hard times and we think it's my problem, it's my issue. The court is just there. They're just going to tell me I need to get the F out and, whatever, we're done. So I can see why people don't show up. First of all, it's already like, you're like, ¿qué cosa no that that I am here? And I didn't even know that I could get help.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what the message that I'm trying to send out. Your taxes already paid for all these services.
Yeah. The city's taxes, the county's taxes, state taxes pay for this stuff. Yeah,
you already paid all this property taxes, and so why not benefit from it?
Yeah,
sometimes everybody's scared of the process, and that's one of the bigger problems that we have is that we're there to give you a legal process. We can't give you legal advice.
Yeah.
But we can walk you through the legal process so it wouldn't be that intimidating. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm running for this, to let people know, send a message out,
Yeah. Okay. Quick interruption. If you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rate and a review and let us know what you think. What we really encourage you to do is leave us a like, a review. The more reviews you leave, the more likes we get, the more people actually are out there to find us. Maybe we're not your cup of tea, but we might be your crazy cousin's cup of tea. Go let her know we're out here. Any thoughts, Juan?
No,
did I miss anything?
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Yes, thank you for listening. So one of the other things, and I'm lost for the word, but one of the things that you wanted to touch on right before we talked about this one was it the credit card debt or the other thing?
Well, credit card debt. That's,
okay.
Well, that's like I said, it's a ton of things that the JP does.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know that was a thing they could handle also.
Yeah. What happens is a lot of credit card companies, they sell their accounts, and these other collection firms buy it. I'm sure you see a collection from somebody, say, "Oh, that's not Home Depot."
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it's my Home Depot account.
Yeah. Right. They'll say, "Oops, what happened here?" Well, if you don't answer anything, then they file a lawsuit against you, and a lot of people don't show up. And one of the things is that these people, that the collection agencies, sometimes if you're in hard times or disabled, can't get a job, they'll work with you, but only if you show up. So if you don't show up, because if you owe the money, then you eventually have to pay it.
Yeah.
But what they do, they cut sometimes interest, sometimes reduce it, and make a payment plan for you at a very low rate. Sometimes when you're paying for a year or two, sometimes I was, okay, this is good enough, we'll dismiss it.
Now, and this is just a question, I don't know if this is a thing that is there or not, or maybe if it's a program, if not, maybe that can be something implemented, but would y'all be able to like help part of the community with like what is it called? I think it's like money classes, like literacy, like, you know what I mean? Like money literacy, like this is like budgeting and stuff. Like, I don't know if that's a thing.
There's a lot.
Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
Oh, shit.
Money management.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Okay.
But there is a lot of classes that actually Harris County has some of those.
And y'all can point me in that direction, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
There's a lot of things that...
I didn't even know.
Yeah, there's...
Okay. I'm sorry. Now I'm like thinking, right? My mind is going a minute. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of programs, it's just like... We don't do the money management, but we know who does.
Yeah.
And we could refer you to class.
Yeah.
At the same time, they tell you, how to budget yourself, how to where to expend your money and where not to, and
Okay, so the credit card debt, you show up, and then y'all can work something out with the creditor. As to like how you can pay down your debt, or how you can like maybe stop it for 6 months and then it pick up later. Like I've heard that have happened to people where they like stop. I don't even know. Like they stop it for like a month or 2 or 3, and they're like, okay, for this we won't add interest and we won't collect, but in 3 months we'll continue collecting when you're back on your feet.
Yeah, but this is when they go to the court. So now the court has your case.
Yeah.
So now it's being monitored, and sooner or later, you finish paying and everything. Let's say you fall in hard times, lost your job. You come to the court, I lost my job, I want to pay this. We talk to the other side, the creditor side. Is it okay if I could work this out, maybe while they get another job? Yeah, sure, no problem. They just want to collect,
Yeah, I see that. People just want people want to work it out. Like it's unfair to the person who you owe it to, but it's like, well, what can you do, right? And the idea is to the court to help.
Right. Well, to, kind of be in between to make sure that everything goes okay. So that's one big thing but when you don't show up, there's a lot of consequences, because then they get a judgment, a default judgment at that. And then they ask for a writ of execution where the constable goes. Of course, you don't have anything.
You're throwing a bunch of words to me. I don't need to understand.
Well,
I get it though.
But the worst part is when they file the garnishment.
What the hell is that?
Well, that's
when they take it from your paycheck.
Yes.
Oh, I heard of that.
And they take all the money from your account. And what about paying the rent and paying this? Now you got yourself in a circle that you can't even pay the rent. Now so you still got to show up.
That sounds like it hurts.
It does. And it could be child support money, which is protected by it. There's a lot of things that are protected, but if you don't show up to court or go to court, the court will never know what's protected and what is not. Or like Social Security disability is protected. They cannot garnish that. When you do your income tax and you get child credit, they can't touch that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little things that
people don't know.
People don't know. And this is one of the things where you have to show up, and the judge will determine if it's exempt or not exempt. And it depends on the circumstances. But once it's your bank account, it's there, and they try to grab it, but you have to go to the court and tell them, hey, this is my child support, this is this, and this is that. And that's where the judge has to make a determination.
Oh, my God, Luis. This is a lot. This is a lot. I'm overwhelmed, but this is a lot.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
We hadn't even touched the
surface, right? We have just the surface of everything that's there. Okay. I mean, Luis, we can go on and on and on, but I'd have you here apparently for hours, so I don't want to do that. If you would let's start here, because I have a thing called the Latina Leadership Series on my podcast. If not you, then who? Go check it out, please. So I have my Latina Leadership Series, and one of the things that I do at the end of that one is, what message would you give to Latinas? But here, I'm going to say it here. What message would you give to Latinos in terms of like what the court offers? What would you like them for sure to know? Aside from just showing up.
Well, the first thing actually is it's a lot of services, which, like you said, there's so much, like an occupational license. When your license got suspended, for example, you could apply for an occupational license because let's say that you have a judgment from a car accident and they suspended your license. Now you can't drive to go to work. So you need an occupational license to be able to pay that money that you owe.
You mean I don't have to park my car and just take the bus?
Yeah.
And then get there later?
But the license is only to go to work.
Yeah.
So that way you could get the whole goal is to get you back on track.
Okay.
See, this is what the JP does, try to bring you back on track, because sometimes things happen, life happens.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
Exactly. But this is what the Justice Peace is for.
Okay.
So the main thing that I want to say, there's so many services. It's not enough time to discuss all the services.
Yeah.
But just go to your local Justice of the Peace.
Yeah.
We're there to bring justice.
I'm going to show up and ask a bunch of questions. That's what I'm going to do. Like, I have no idea. I'm showing up and asking a bunch of questions. I'll be like, look, so my friend Talifulala is dealing with this. Before she gets in trouble, what can she do?
Right.
Like, I don't even care. I'm just going to show up and ask a bunch of questions because I don't know all of this that happens. But, I mean, would it be like somebody like you, like Glenn Kirk, I'm showing up like, hey, I got a bunch of... Would you be there to, like, willing to answer questions if somebody showed up?
Actually, that's our main purpose.
Yeah?
We get paid by the taxpayers and we're there. Exactly.
Jesus. Okay. Now
our taxpayers are our bosses. So if one of our bosses shows up to the window, of course, I'm there for you.
So don't be scared of those court like spaces. They call your name and everybody's like looks like, oh shit, here I come. I'm gonna get paid $300. It's not just like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's it's on the statute where if you can't afford the fine, the judge has to look into the reasons why.
Yeah.
And the judge can give you community service.
A lot of people just don't show up because they can't afford it.
But that's
because that's where we get in trouble.
Exactly. And it goes downhill after that.
Yeah. Yeah, by the time you know it, you're owing all this stuff, and then they like run your license plate, and they're like, I think you have a warrant for your arrest, and the police officer's like, I don't know what to do. I have it. I have to take you, and you're like, fuck. I mean, it hasn't happened to me, but I've seen it happen to my friends.
We all seen
it. Dude, that sucks. It sucks, man. It sucks. Okay. So, lastly, if there's any parting words that you would. So when is early voting starts? February 14th
through the 25th
on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
They're trying to take all the romance away from that day. Okay. February 14th is early voting, and then so what can I do, or how do I know it's Luis Garza on the ballots if you're in the Houston area? But what if I'm just in the county, in the city? Can I reach out to you to ask questions?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, please.
Okay.
Any time you could always questions, but to vote for me, it would have to be on the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 6.
Okay.
So if you live in Precinct 6, the areas that we described earlier, my name will come up, and it'll be Luis Garza for Justice of the Peace Precinct 6, Place 2. Yes. But if not, I mean, just want to encourage everybody to go to the Justice of the Peace and ask questions. And keep in mind, the taxpayers, we're their bosses.
Yeah. Okay, so we live in the world of social media. Where can I find you?
It's going to be, my website is www.garza4jp.com.
Garza, Garza, the number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
jp.com. Okay.
Yes. And in Facebook, it's going to be the same thing.
Okay.
Facebook.com/Garza4jp.com.
All right. Well, I like this. Luis, thank you so much. Is there anything, parting words, anything you want to finish off with? Anything you need to know, or we need to know?
Well, yes, voting.
Okay.
Just let me part with that.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, but you always got to find out what benefits you. But please go vote and don't let others decide for you.
Okay.
Put your voice out there, and that's important. That's your voice.
Yeah.
And don't let nobody take it from you.
So if you can register to vote and go vote.
Yes, please.
Yeah. You'd be amazed at how many people are eligible to vote and decide they don't want to.
Well, it's interesting that, like on Precinct 6, in the history of Precinct 6, it's about 8,000 people from 130,000.
Ouch.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Luis, you're going to make me canvass. I don't want to canvas. I don't want to go out there and be like, get registered to vote. If you're not registered, please register. That hurts. As a person who has 3 people in my family and we're all registered, it sounds like we're 1/3 of that, damn it. Get out there and register to vote, please. I don't want to vote. I don't want to be just me, my husband, and my son voting for like our entire block. Get out there. Yes. Register.
Please.
Yeah.
It's your voice and it's your right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Luis.
Thank you so much for
taking the time out of your day, your busy day, like running for office and stuff like that. Thanks. I appreciate this.
I just want
You were very informative. This is good.
It's the experience.
You got good stuff, man. I know. I know you experience in the court. Hey, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So anything you guys need, just let me know.
All right. Thank you, Luis. If you can, just wave at my camera. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.